Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Curse of Oak Island. Scientific data narrows location of treasure to the new baby blob. The Curse of Oak Island returned last night to reveal the team has narrowed down the area, known as the Blob, where they need to look for the treasure by the garden shaft. This week's episode saw Ian Spooner back in the war room. Marty Lagina couldn't hide his excitement and impatience about hearing the geoscientist's results on the data from the recent water samples. The geoscientist almost always has good news for the team, and Marty left him in no doubt that the pressure was on for him to deliver again. Ian had a selection of graphs, all indicating that he had narrowed down the area of the blob. This means the team now has a much smaller area to look in for the large concentration of gold that is thought to be buried near the garden shaft. Marty christened this new area the baby blob. The baby blob is a much more manageable area of only 20 feet by 20 feet and is buried between 80 and 120 feet underground. It lies just outside of the garden shaft. However, Ian had more intriguing news. He and his colleague uncovered the signatures of other metals, besides gold, in the baby blob. A variety of different metals equals a hidden treasure on Oak Island. These metals included copper, zinc, and tin, and the presence of these three metals also suggests the presence of brass and bronze. Copper and zinc combine to make brass, and copper and tin give you bronze. These precious metal combinations are significant because they suggest a concentration of different types of objects or treasure buried in the baby blob. Gary Drayton pointed out that all these metals would be found with a real treasure haul. Frankly, the fellowship and the viewers should be wary of being too excited. Over the last few years, the team has already drilled plenty of times into the blob area and has even drilled 6 times into the baby blob, each time finding nothing of real value. The guys have been drilling in this area for the past couple of weeks, and last night they placed the borehole drill, DN 9.5, over the baby blob, and still, they hit nothing. There was disappointment etched on their faces, but they tried to remain upbeat. The soil was loose in places, indicating they could be close to something. It is important to remember that it is still quite a wide area, and perhaps they just missed the treasure by inches. In other news, the Dumas Mining Company has now excavated and rehabilitated 44 feet of the garden shaft. Rick Lagina and Scott Barlow even got to don some hard hats and go check it out. Rick was super excited to realize his childhood dream of exploring under the surface. The good news is Dumas only have to dig another 40 to 50 feet, and then they'll be able to tunnel into the baby blob itself, which could finally bring the 200-year-old secret of Oak Island to a close. A bridge is unearthed on Lot 26, and the well is linked to Templar Knights. Meanwhile, on Lot 26, Gary and Jack Begley were dancing for joy after they uncovered what appears to be a brooch. The team was super excited to discover an actual piece of jewelry. The brooch will need to undergo some rigorous testing and analysis before it can be determined how old the object is and what it's made of. The guys were able to examine it using a CT scanner, but they will need an XRF analysis to learn more. In one final area of note, the team brought in historian Terry DeVoe to examine the mysterious ancient well on Lot 26. Regular viewers will remember Terry as the guy who dated the stone roadway by the swamp to 500 years old and suggested it had been built by the Portuguese. Terry didn't have a whole lot to say about the well, but he did note its similarity to a well in New Ross, Nova Scotia, about 20 miles away from Oak Island. The team visited the well at New Ross in 2016, where they discovered markings that connected the area to the Templar Knights. All this just adds to the mystery of the well. As the morning sun casts its golden light over the mist-shrouded shores of Oak Island, the tranquil scenery belied the tension brewing among the fellowship of the dig. For centuries, the whispers of hidden treasure buried deep within this enigmatic isle had lured adventurers and treasure seekers alike. Now, the latest scientific data promised to unravel one of the greatest mysteries of our time, narrowing the location of the fabled treasure to a newly discovered anomaly, whimsically dubbed the Baby Blob. The Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, stood at the edge of the money pit, their gazes fixed on the horizon. They had been through thick and thin, traversing the rocky terrain of skepticism and hope. Today, their spirits were buoyed by the latest breakthrough, a geophysical survey that had revealed a significant underground feature. The data was clear and precise, pointing to a promising location just west of the famed C1 shaft. "We've got something special here, Rick," Marty said, his voice tinged with excitement. The new data points to a smaller yet distinct anomaly, a baby blob that could very well be our next major find. Rick nodded thoughtfully, his eyes gleaming with determination. "Let's not waste any time. We've got to get a team over there and start exploring this new site." The fellowship, bolstered by the new information, sprang into action. Geophysicists, archaeologists, and seasoned diggers converged on the newly identified location. The term baby blob was coined by Dr. Ian Spooner, the resident geoscientist, to describe the anomaly's smaller size compared to the previously detected big blob. Yet it was no less intriguing. Initial ground-penetrating radar scans suggested that this compact formation could harbor cavities or tunnels, potential hiding places for the elusive treasure. As the team meticulously set up their equipment, the air buzzed with anticipation. Crate Tester, the mechanical and drilling expert, directed the drilling rig with surgical precision. The soil samples brought up from the depths were carefully examined, each revealing layers of history, each holding clues to the island's storied past. In the makeshift field lab, Dr. Spooner and his team pored over the data. The baby blob exhibited unique characteristics, hinting at man-made alterations. As more samples were extracted, they revealed traces of ancient tools and what appeared to be wooden structures, remnants, perhaps of past treasure hunters or the original creators of the money pit. "It's unlike anything we've seen before," Dr. Spooner remarked, his brow furrowed in concentration. "The composition and arrangement suggest deliberate construction. This could be a significant breakthrough." Meanwhile, deep underground, the drilling continued. Layers of clay and rock gave way to what appeared to be a void. The excitement was palpable as the drill hit a cavity, confirming the presence of an underground chamber. The team decided to insert a camera to get a first glimpse of what lay within. As the camera descended, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. The screen flickered with images of the subterranean world, cramped, dark, and mysterious. Suddenly, the camera revealed something astonishing: wooden beams arranged in a pattern, hinting at a structure that had withstood the test of time. Could this be the legendary vault that had eluded so many? Jack Begley, the youngest member of the team, leaned in closer to the screen, his eyes wide with wonder. "This could be it, guys. We might be looking at the entrance to the vault." The excitement was infectious. Marty, ever the pragmatist, urged caution. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to verify what we're seeing and proceed carefully. This could be a fragile structure." With bated breath, the team watched as the camera explored further. The chamber seemed to extend beyond the initial view, suggesting a network of tunnels. The significance of the baby blob grew with each passing moment, promising a trove of secrets waiting to be uncovered. Over the next few days, the fellowship worked tirelessly, coordinating efforts between surface operations and the subterranean exploration. The discovery of the wooden structure led to more revelations: ancient artifacts, tools, and remnants of what appeared to be a crude map etched into the rock. This map seemed to depict the island and marked several key locations, one of which corresponded to the baby blob. As the team deciphered the map, they realized it was a guide to navigating the island's treacherous underground network. The treasure, it seemed, was not a single cache but a series of hidden chambers, each protecting the next. The baby blob was a crucial piece of this intricate puzzle.